Hey guys, this is Dave from Vanguard here with another deck profile for you guys. As you see in the title, it is the Thinksaver Altomile deck. Of course, as you see on the screen here, that you'll see some Jewel Knight mixes. Of course, I didn't call it the Jewel Knight mix because I guess Jewel Knight cards are just only text of the deck, so I just put the title as Thinksaver Altomile. Going to the grade 3 lineups, of course I am running 4 Thinksaver Dragons. It would be actually really weird not to run Thinksaver in a Royal deck, because that Thinksaver is pretty good and it doesn't even require a Seeker Counterblast or a Seeker Soul or anything like that. So Thinksaver is just a really good card to run in general, just because the fact that I can restand it, and then of course like I said before, it doesn't require anything, and then of course it's a Legion card, and Legion is actually one of the best techs that you can run in Stride format. Going on to the other grade 3 lineup, I am only running 3 of the blue Sky Knight Altomile. For those of you guys that don't know what Altomile does, it's when the Stride card rides into it, you counterblast 1, choose up to 2 cards from your hand and put them on the field, they get +5. And then of course on Jailbreak 2, during your turn, all of your units in the front row gains +5. So I can't say it's the best card. Honestly, you won't be in Altomile most of the situations, but if there's a situation you had to sit on Altomile for the rest of your turn, he's still good because he generates power, and power is something that you need in this format. So I just run 3 Altomiles, no more, no less, because Thinksaver is going to be your main grade 3 that you will be riding into, and the only card that you will be trying to pushing with, even in Stride. Altomile is just a card that you'll be discarding for your Stride. Going to the grade 2 lineup, of course I do run the 4 Blaster Blade Seeker. The reason being is it's a Legion card with Thinksaver. So these two are the only Seeker deck I do run in the deck. So I do run 4. I've seen a lot of builds running less Blaster Blades. Honestly, I don't see the point of why running less Blaster Blades. 1, his ability is kind of good, so I wouldn't minimize him. And then 2, he's a Legion, so the Legion pairs have to stay at 4 is my best opinion on Legion decks in general. And going on to the other grade 2s, I run 3 of the Knight of Twin Sword. For those of you guys that don't know, he's from the Trial deck. When you attack, when this card is boosted, Counterblast 1, call a grade 2 Royal Paladin card from your deck to the field. So basically, you'll combo with the other card, which is Swordmai, Jewel Knight Swordmai, and try to generate more search and more field presence, so you'll gain extra cards. So basically, you'll try to plus with the Knight of the Twin Sword, get into Jewel Knight Swordmai, and then get extra cards. And of course, the other grade 2 lineup I am running is Swordmai, which I will explain what it does now, because the fact that I've been saying that it is the combo of the deck. With when you get Swordmai, when it's called to the field, you counterblast 1, and you get to call a Jewel Knight card on the field. So you'll create another 16k column with the attack of Knight of the Twin Sword. So I think Swordmai is really good. I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they don't like the Swordmai mix, but honestly, in my opinion, I think Swordmai is actually one of the better ones I've seen. The better mix of the deck. So just creating another 16k column is definitely one of the most pressures that it can get to the opponent. It's basically a standing rear guard, so I think that's pretty devastating itself. And then of course the last grade 2 lineups I am running is only 2 of the Knight of Fragment. It's an 11k attacker at Jailbreak 1, and when it hits you can unflip. This deck will definitely need some unflippers out of the perfect arts that I am running in the deck. But it's actually a really good bait. So most people try to attack your Knight of Fragment because it's an unflipper, and unflippers with Thinksaver, they know that's really good, and I'm just gonna restand Thinksaver like 2 times 2 times in 1 turn, so they don't want that, so they would usually attack Knight of Fragments, and you'll try to get it out so you can bait out their attacks, or such strategies like that. And then plus it soul charges when it hits while unflipping, so that's actually really good with Think Saber. So I only run 2. Probably won't increase the number of it because of the fact that my space is really full of the grade 2, as you see. Even I took out a grade 3 for another grade 2 spot. So, and then of course the starter you see is I run the Shining Knight Millis. It's from also the trial deck. It's Counterblast 1 at Jailbreak 1. You'll call a grade 2 and call into the rear and shuffle your deck. I think this card's really good. You can combo with Swordmai, of course, or even just get a Knight of the Twin Sword and try to combo off that. I mean, just a really good starter in general. I know that people are going to ask, why don't you run File since you run a Legion deck? I mean, the thing is with this deck, you won't Legion until the final push when you finally deck thin and you only will have triggers left. So I mean, you won't be Legioning until the end of the almost the end game. So I mean, this card will probably just provide you just good rear guards, and you'll be deck thinning with cards like this. Going on to grade 1 lineups, of course, I am running the 4 Laurel Knight Cyclios. He is the Altomile Searcher, and he is the +2 Stride card. So you discard him, you get a Stride. It's pretty obvious why you run him, because you want to Stride, and you want to Stride until you're ready to make your finishing blow with Think Saber. So just gotta run 4. 4 is good. The next grade 1 lineup I am running is the Holy Knight Guardian, which is the Unflipper Perfect Guard for Royal Paladins. As you see, I mean, she is really good in general, because you got the Knight of the Twin Sword that needs Counterblast, Swordmine needs Counterblast, Think Saber needs a Counterblast, so just a really good option to run Unflippers. I know that most of you guys are asking, why don't you run the Jewel Knight Perfect Guard, since Swordmine is needing Counterblast for... He needs Jewel Knight's Counterblast. Well, on my opinion wise, I think it's better to unflip damages than try to use Swordmine's effect. So I see the effectiveness of the unflip perfect guards. I would definitely run unflip perfect guards instead of other perfect guards for this deck. And then here's the Jewel Knight cards. I am running 4 of the Shellies. She is like a 10k attacker if you have 3 or more Jewel Knight rear guards, which I mean it never happens, but she's only there as a 16k boost. Same with the Prinzi, because Prinzi is just a 7k boost. So basically I put these 6 cards for the 6 a special Counterblast, and then to make the 16k column, so I won't call anything lower than that. I know most of the guys were like, you should run the Limit Break Enabler. I'm like, I mean, I have no Limit Break cards, but I mean, I'm still in and out, but these can potentially use their effects, so I'd rather have these on the board. Going on to the trigger lineups, pretty simple. 4 draws because Margle's really good, and you get the soul charge for Think Saber, so Margle stays. And then of course I am running the 8 Jewel Knight Perfect cards. It's better. I mean, I just like to run the Jewel Knight cards, like the trigger wise. It just works out really good. So I mean, if you have at least one of these cards, even him, you'll just able to use Swordmine's effect at least once or twice. Honestly, you won't be able to use Swordmine's effect too much. So I mean, I wouldn't gamble on using Swordmine's effect, but just a really consistent search, and you need the special Counterblast, so you'll run most of the Jewel Knight triggers. 4 heals, pretty obvious why you have to run it. And of course, it is the Stride deck, so I will go on to the Stride. I am running 4 Saint Blows and 4 of Galblade. Usually you'll Stride into Galblade first, try to search for grade 2 and put it on the field. You usually search for Swordmai or Knight of the Twin Sword, depending on the situation. Most people will take it, so I mean, you'll have an extra card with getting a Swordmai, just getting a full column attack again. They'll try to bait it out. Or if you can get the Knight of Fragments, you can start unflipping damage too. So Galblade is actually a really good card for Royal Paladins. I think it's one of the best strides that you can get. And speaking of strides, I do run 4 of the Holy Dragon Saint Blow Dragon. So this card, for those of you guys that don't know, you have to have 2, well I guess Gem Break 2, and you'll flip another copy of the Saint Blow. It gets +3 for each rear guard on the field. It's an act ability, so you'll try to gain a field and activate Saint Blow's effect. And it will get +3 for each, so if you have a full field, it gets another +15. Over that, you'll have the Stride power, which is another 15. That's 30 with another 11. That's 46. And then whatever you're boosting with, it's an additional power. So this card will be hitting at least 41k with the crit. So I think it's really good in general. No matter what people say about other strides, I know there's Metro Kaiser, Plasma Vic, or Vic Plasma that restands, and then there's Kagero that retires stuff. But no matter what people say, I think this card's really good in general. It gets a crit and a super power boost, so no complaints on that. Saint Blow is probably the best card that you can run in Royals or any other deck if you had it. So that just pretty much winds up the deck profile. Hope you guys like it. Comment, rate, subscribe down below. Hopefully I will be filming more matches with this as soon as possible. And like always guys, imagine the victory. I am Vanguard. Comment for more questions down below.